When Ryan Parker was 14 years old, he stood outside a large technology company and stared through the glass doors. Inside, successful people walked through bright offices, carrying laptops and discussing important projects. Ryan watched them with admiration. He came from a poor neighborhood where most people worried about paying bills rather than building companies. Yet every time he looked at that building, he felt something powerful inside him. One day, he promised himself that he would work there. Not as a visitor, not as a cleaner. He wanted to become one of the people creating the future inside those walls. Most people laughed when he shared his dream. His family struggled financially, and his school was not known for producing successful entrepreneurs or engineers. Some teachers encouraged him, but others suggested he choose a more realistic goal. Ryan listened politely, but he never stopped believing. He spent hours at the local library reading books about technology, business, and successful people. He became fascinated by stories of individuals who started with nothing and built extraordinary lives. Those stories became fuel for his own dream. Every night, while other teenagers played video games or watched television, Ryan studied programming. At first, he barely understood anything. The codes looked confusing and impossible to learn. He made mistakes constantly. Programs crashed. Projects failed. Sometimes he spent hours trying to solve a problem only to realize he had made a simple error. There were many moments when quitting seemed easier than continuing. Yet something inside him refused to stop. He remembered the office building and the promise he had made to himself. By the time Ryan graduated from high school, he had become a skilled programmer. However, a new challenge appeared. He could not afford university. His parents worked hard, but money was always limited. Watching his friends leave for college while he stayed behind was painful. For the first time, he wondered whether his dream was slipping away. Instead of giving up, Ryan found a job delivering packages during the day and continued learning online at night. His schedule was exhausting. He woke up before sunrise, worked all day, and studied until midnight. Some days he felt physically exhausted. Some nights he fell asleep at his desk. Yet each small improvement reminded him that progress was still progress. One evening, while delivering a package to a small startup company, Ryan noticed several employees discussing a software problem. Without thinking, he offered a suggestion. The employees looked surprised. After asking a few questions, they realized Ryan understood the issue remarkably well. A week later, the company offered him a part-time internship. The salary was small, but Ryan accepted immediately. It was his first opportunity to work in technology. The internship changed everything. For the first time, he was surrounded by people who shared his interests and ambitions. He learned quickly and impressed his supervisors with his determination. Yet success did not arrive overnight. The startup struggled financially and eventually closed. Ryan lost his position. Once again, he found himself unemployed and uncertain about the future. Sitting alone in his apartment that evening, he felt defeated. Years of effort seemed to have produced nothing. As he stared at the city lights through his window, he considered giving up. Maybe the people who doubted him had been right all along. Maybe dreams were only for lucky people. The next morning, Ryan visited the library where his journey had begun. While walking between the shelves, he found a notebook filled with goals he had written years earlier. On the first page was a sentence written in large letters. "If you can imagine it, you can build it." Reading those words felt like hearing advice from his younger self. Ryan realized something important. He had already overcome countless obstacles. Why stop now? Motivated once again, he decided to create his own software application. The idea was simple. He wanted to help small businesses manage customer appointments more easily. He spent months designing, coding, testing, and improving the product. Many early users complained about bugs and problems. Some reviews were harsh. More than once, Ryan questioned whether the project would ever succeed. But each mistake taught him something valuable. Slowly, the software improved. More customers joined. Small businesses began recommending it to others. Within 2 years, Ryan's application was generating enough income for him to work on it full-time. It was not a huge success yet, but it was growing. Then an unexpected opportunity appeared. One of the country's largest technology conferences invited Ryan to present his software. Standing on stage in front of hundreds of people was terrifying. His hands shook before the presentation began. Yet as he explained his journey and demonstrated his product, something remarkable happened. The audience loved it. Several investors approached him afterward. One investor offered funding that would allow Ryan to expand the business dramatically. Ryan could hardly believe it. For years, he had dreamed of building something meaningful. Now that dream was becoming reality. Over the next few years, his company grew rapidly. More employees joined. New features were added. Thousands of businesses began using the software. Ryan worked harder than ever. But now his effort produced visible results. Newspapers published articles about his success. Business podcasts invited him as a guest. Young entrepreneurs began asking for advice. Despite the growing recognition, Ryan remained humble. He never forgot the struggles that had shaped him. One afternoon, several years later, Ryan received an email that made him stop and stare at the screen. The message came from the same large technology company he had admired as a teenager. They wanted to partner with his business. Ryan laughed in disbelief. The company that once seemed impossibly far away now wanted to work with him. A few weeks later, he walked through the glass doors he had stared at years earlier. This time, he was not standing outside. He was entering as a respected entrepreneur. During the meeting, Ryan looked around the office and remembered the 14-year-old boy standing on the sidewalk with a dream. If someone had told that boy what would happen, he probably would not have believed it. Yet here he was. The dream had come true. After the meeting, Ryan stepped outside and stood in the same spot where he had once watched the building from a distance. He smiled and looked up at the sky. The journey had been longer and harder than he imagined. There had been failures, disappointments, and moments of doubt. But every obstacle had taught him something important. Every setback had forced him to become stronger. Years later, Ryan often spoke to students and young entrepreneurs. Whenever someone asked for the secret to success, he always gave the same answer. Dreams don't come true because you wish for them. They come true because you keep working when progress is slow, when failure hurts, and when nobody else believes in you. He explained that success is rarely a straight path. Most people see the victory, but not the years of struggle behind it. They see the finished building, but not the foundation beneath it. Ryan's story was never really about technology or business. It was about persistence. It was about refusing to let circumstances define what was possible. Most importantly, it was about believing in a dream long enough to give it a chance to become real. Because sometimes the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is simply the decision to keep going one more day. And for Ryan Parker, that decision changed everything.